Some people think John Muir was a hero. Others don't think he lives up to his legendary status. As always, the truth is complicated. But who was John Muir? Well, he grew up in Dunbar, Scotland, where, even as a young boy, he loved nature, spending his days exploring the Scottish coastline and countryside. His family immigrated to Wisconsin when he was just 11, where, in his journals, he detailed his newfound love for botany, meticulously writing about and sketching his walks through the region's forests. Eventually, he made his way to Indianapolis when he was 29, where, while working in a carriage shop, a sharp tool slipped out of his hand and pierced his right eye, blinding him totally. But after his eyesight miraculously returned over the next 6 weeks, he said he felt like a completely new man, arisen from the grave. So he left to explore everywhere he could. He walked 1,000 miles from Indiana all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, sketching the tropical plants he saw along the way. Then he sailed to Cuba, Panama, and finally to San Francisco, where he then traveled to the Yosemite Valley in the California Sierra.
We are driving along the road that goes to Yosemite National Park, through tunnels, over hills and mountains into valleys, with the tallest, straightest trees you've ever seen.
It seems that he fell in love with the place almost immediately. Those cascading waterfalls, that beautiful granite. It's no surprise that John Muir thought of Yosemite Valley as his key to spirituality. He called it his cathedral. It's where he felt most connected to his version of a creator.
John Muir wasn't the only person who felt a strong connection to the land. After all, Native American tribes had lived in the area for over 4,000 years before he arrived. But he became so famous for writing about and advocating for environmental conservation of the Sierra Nevada that a year after he died, a new hiking trail built through the mountains was named in his honor. The John Muir Trail starts at the bottom of Yosemite Valley and travels south through the California Sierra, across 3 national parks and 2 wilderness areas, until reaching the highest point in the contiguous U.S., Mount Whitney. The trail is 211 miles long and takes hikers over 9 high mountain passes, starting at 4,000 feet in Yosemite Valley, hitting Donahue, Silver, Selden, Muir, Mather, Pinchot, Glen, and Forester Pass, until reaching its official end on the peak of Whitney at 14,000 feet. Of course, unless you want to live at the Whitney summit, you need to hike 11 more miles back to civilization. We're here at the trailhead of John Muir Trail. It says 211 miles, so...
That's right. Gonna go great, we hope.
Every year, my brother and I always try to go on a wilderness hike together. We live very far apart. He lives in Los Angeles, I live in New York. We have busy lives. This is a time for us to spend uninterrupted time with each other, let our senses of humor interact as they were meant to.
How are you doing over there?
Great. So, came up pretty far today. We've done, what, 4 miles?
To spend time with my brother, to spend time in the wilderness, to get to do both together almost every year is something I need to do every so often in my life.
So we're here at the top of Nevada Falls. So we met Chris. Chris is also hiking the John Muir Trail starting today with us. He's planning to hike it a bit faster than us, but it's fun to meet someone on the trail who is at least starting out to endure the same pain that we are. Why did you want to do the John Muir Trail, Chris?
The experience, to challenge myself, to maybe have a little alone time, see things that most people won't get a chance to see in their lifetime.
Easy to find firewood. We just finished our first day, 12 miles, thereabouts. It's a grueling climb, just up almost the entire way. My legs are pretty much shot. But the place is beautiful. I feel great. This is basically one of the most beautiful places on earth.
So it's the morning of day 2 here on the John Muir Trail. We're packing up right now. It's quite cold out here, but Brian has assured me it will get colder.
It will. It's not going to stay like this forever. We're about to go up several thousand feet higher into the air. It's colder up there. Here's a tortilla for your knees.
Thank you for my knee.
So we think it's 14 miles today, something like that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That seems very doable based on what happened yesterday.
What happened yesterday? Did we do less than that?
We almost did 14 miles.
How was your night?
Cold feet.
And with that, we head out.
I've lived in California for 10 years, and I've actually spent a lot of time in the Sierra Nevada mountains. I've always dreamed of hiking out of Yosemite from the bottom of the valley to the top of Tuolumne Meadows, but I just never got around to doing it. And as we were hiking out of the valley, I got to fulfill that life dream. And it became more clear to me than ever why John Muir loved the place so much.
When John Muir moved to Yosemite in 1869, he built his own cabin on Yosemite Creek while herding a flock of 2,000 sheep. John Muir devoted his life to preserving the pristine nature of this place and places like it. He wrote 300 articles, 10 books, and even began lobbying the federal government.
Eventually, John Muir hosted Theodore Roosevelt for a visit in the Yosemite Valley, and Theodore Roosevelt said that the camping trip was one of the grandest days of his life. So he moved with Congress to create the Yosemite National Park in California. 2 years later, in 1892, John Muir founded environmental protection organization the Sierra Club, and member and explorer Theodore Solomons quickly began advocating for the construction of a trail that he had envisioned and mapped himself along the backbone of the High Sierra. Of course, he had some indirect help from the native people who had lived in the Sierra for millennia, whose established ancestral trade routes crisscrossed the same land. So today, the Sierra Club and conservationists also refer to the John Muir Trail as Nüümü Poyo, the People's Road.
The elevation map, the scale is misleading. So misleading on scale. Yes, fizzy cola candy. This'll get me going again, no problem. Just need some fizzy colas, and it's gonna be fine. The power of Coca-Cola, the stuff of life. There we go.
We're about halfway up out of the valley. I'm really enjoying getting to do something here in Yosemite that I've never done. And I consider this a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
It's a special place out here. Very few places like this in the world. Amazing views, amazing silence. There are 6 cola candies left. Only 6 cola candies left. We will now enjoy them.
Give me some of that sugar, that'll make you sweet. Give me some of that good old-fashioned stuff. Now you on my feet.
Haribo, you're a genius.
Just like cola, except gummy, the way it was meant to be. We just finished about 16 miles, and we're here at Tuolumne Meadows. It was a tough climb in the morning. In this bear canister here, there may or may not be the next 2 or 3 days of our food.
One of the things that's hard about planning a John Muir Trail hike is that we knew we'd need to carry about 3 weeks worth of food, but it's almost impossible to carry that much at once. So, knowing that we'd be able to start with about 2 days worth in our packs, I organized 3 food drops in advance. As you can see, there's just a crazy amount of food of all types, and I'm slowly but surely organizing them so that they can be sent off ahead of us. I sent 3 days worth to pick up in Tuolumne Meadows, 3 days worth to Reds Meadow, and then 11 days worth to Vermilion Valley Resort because we knew Muir Trail Ranch would be closed this late in the season, and we didn't want to hike an extra 14 miles to get a resupply in Onion Valley.
Air proof, not just proof. delicious. Not as good as cola snacks, but I bet they're pretty damn good.
How do you know? Have you had them before?
No. I mean, yeah, I've had those before. Just those colas were so good.
Instead of having all of our favorite foods all of the time, I instead try to err completely on the side of variety. So we have lots and lots of different kinds of foods, but rarely will the same food come up twice in a food drop.
Come on down, make it sweet.
So it's day 3. We made it to Lyle Canyon Trailhead.
This is the point where unfortunately we have to say goodbye to Chris. He's limited on time, so he's gonna shoot way ahead of us.
We're here in Lyle Canyon. We're having a snack break. We've already done nearly 5 miles today, but the worry for today, the big worry is Donahue Pass. We know it's covered in snow, so that's the big test for today is can we get over Donahue Pass, but hopefully these snacks will give us the energy.
These orange slices are amazing. It's just sweetened dried orange. This will get you going for 5 more miles, no problem. Just one of these babies.
My infinite variety, no repeat strategy for the food.
That's been kind of an interesting experience because every time you're eating something, there's this little moment of heartbreak where you know you're not gonna have any more for the rest of the trip. But it makes every piece of food that we eat a little bit more precious.
Climbing up to our first major pass, Donahue Pass, 11,000 feet. You can feel the altitude up here. It's not Everest, but it's a little thinner. I think we're probably about a third of the way up. It's just a straight climb up a mountain. If you've ever done that before, you know what that's like. Just grueling, relentless stepping up, dragging your pack behind you as it gets heavier and heavier and pulls further and further down on your shoulders. We're gonna make it though.
We're just heading up to the top of the pass now. It's just a little flat area and then a little, one more little climb and then we're at the top of this baby and it's just a beautiful, beautiful day. So we made it to the top of Donahue Pass here at, how many feet is it?
We're at 11,000 feet, right on the line between Yosemite National Park and the Ansel Adams Wilderness.
I'm a little sad to be leaving Yosemite because I love it so much, but I'm also really excited because it gives me the feeling that we're heading out into the wild wilderness of the John Muir Trail. And one of our friends that we met on the trail just joined us. Kirsten's here with us, and she was confident she would make it, and she has. How do you feel?
Excellent.
It sounded like a lie.
Most loaded excellent I've ever heard. Next stop, shooting knee pains as you descend from a mountain pass.
Okay, we did 18 miles today with an average speed of 1.7 miles.
Every day at the end of our hike, Hank picks up the GPS and just reads off all the numbers he sees on them, regardless of whether anyone has asked.
We hiked 10 hours and 51 minutes, and we hit it back.
It feels like I've called some kind of information line.
And from there, we came up with the idea of some kind of information line. Anytime we needed a piece of information, we would say, hello, some kind of information line, and we would ask the question to each other.
Hey, can I get some water to make the coffee?
How much do you need?
1 3/4.
1 3/4 cups.
Yep.
So that's some kind of information line. Hello, how many milliliters is 1 3/4 cups?
414 milliliters. Thanks for calling.
You have Google in life, but here, out in the wilderness where there is no internet whatsoever, all the questions you have to ask to a tree or your brother.
Hello, some kind of information line? Can you tell me which mountains these are?
Over here we have Pancake Batter Mountain, and then just to its right, Jesse Jefferson. Over to the beyond that is Pancake Jr. And then over here we've got Sky Mountain. As those just the facts. Thanks for calling. Goodbye.
I'm excited for today actually because I've hiked through some sections of this area before and Thousand Island Lakes and Garnet Lake are some of the most beautiful lakes I've seen in the world, so it'll be nice to have a nice stroll by those, maybe have lunch by one of those lakes today, and just enjoy the scenery of Ansel Adams.
Ansel Adams was the grandson of a wealthy timber baron who never fit in at school, but was transfixed by the outdoors when he visited Yosemite at age 14, 2 years after John Muir's death in 1916. Adams became a Sierra Club board member and visited every year for the rest of his life, taking photographs and leaning into his signature style that he called straight or pure photography.
Unbelievable. This is outrageous. This is against the law. Arrest Ansel Adams immediately. Bring him to justice. It's just silence. Except it's not. You can hear the wind in the trees, a river in the distance, birds, these insanely loud dragonflies. That's it though.
The Sierra Club has used both John Muir's writing and Ansel Adams' photographs throughout its history to advocate for environmental legal protections. But in 2020, the Sierra Club acknowledged that some of Muir's early writing contained derogatory and hurtful comments about Native Americans, though it's also clear that his views evolved into great respect over time. And historians have criticized Adams for his photographs never containing any of the native people who had been good stewards of the Sierra's land for centuries, though the US military drove many of them away decades before John Muir and Ansel Adams even arrived. So rather than argue about whether these guys, by modern standards, were good or bad, I think it's important simply to acknowledge their flaws and learn from their mistakes. And the big error in Muir's writing and Adams' photographs was that, whether unintentionally or not, Adams and Muir perpetuated the myth that the California Sierra needed to be protected because it was pure wilderness, untouched by humanity. In fact, the land primarily needed to be protected from white settlers' high-impact exploitation of natural resources. And even today, the lack of a holistic conservation approach outside protected areas has meant that climate change-induced forest fires, water contamination from pesticides in California's Central Valley, and environmental damage from mining continue to affect the Sierra.
What a place.
We're with a friend that we just met.
Hey.
This is Brett.
Hey, I'm Brett.
How are you doing?
Tired, feet hurt, but feeling good.
And also two other hikers from Spain. How are you guys doing?
Good, but it's tough. It's a tough trail. But it's cold at night.
And it's called Shadow Lake because at 3 o'clock in the afternoon on June 15th of every year, this mountain casts a perfect shadow of John Muir's profile.
I see it, it's right there. Well, savor it.
I'm definitely savoring it.
Just as those candied oranges.
Much like I savored those fizzy cola candies, which I will never ever see again.
Yep, that's... Finally, you're starting to learn the lesson.
I'm understanding. Hank invited me on a trip without telling me he was going to teach me the most important life lesson I've ever had.
I spread my wings and let go. Something stirring in my soul. I feel it again, feel it again. Feel it again, feel it again.
It's the morning of day 5 here on the John Muir Trail. It is very, very cold this morning.
It's frosty and cold. We need to get into that sunshine instead of doing this stupid video here in the shade.
We're cold. We're going to the sunshine. Goodbye. Off to Red's Meadow.
Red's Meadow.
Unlock the cage and free my heart. This is where the journey starts. Now it begins, now it begins.
I knew what the John Muir Trail was before, but now being on the trail, I really like being thrust into like a new world of names and monikers and places. You know, learn what's Donahue Pass and what's Red's Meadow and what's Silver Pass, and put visuals to those place names, which I've only read about. I think that's a really rewarding experience for me.
Good thing we got here today. This place closes tomorrow.
Yeah, we're cutting it close this season. I can't believe it really does.
It really does. Hi, how are you doing? I'm doing very well. We made it. We got it. So that's great. We can eat for the next 3 days.
It's got a nice handle.
It's not as hard as I thought. Excellent. You've got white chocolate mocha coffee mix?
You didn't expect that, did you?
Oatmeal? I've been craving oatmeal. Beef stroganoff? Very good. That's the best one.
It's a good day. It's a good day to be alive.
So we just had showers. How was your shower?
Oh, great.
Describe it in detail. How did it change you?
Pure ecstasy.
I had no idea so much dirt could collect on the human body over the course of nearly, what, 5 days? Very good.
We've made it 60 miles into the trip. We're here with our friend Brett.
I have a gigantic cheeseburger that's gonna be enough calories to get me through the next 2 hours of hiking.
This is a lot of food.
Got me a double cheeseburger, no regrets.
I hiked 60 miles for this group club.
Day 6.
We're here at the historic pack station where you used to fuel up your horses and mules and donkeys. We're about to head out of Red's Meadow with our hiker friend Bo to Mexico, 915 miles.
Rolling on like the thunder with open eyes full of wonder. It's a good day. It's a good day to be alive.
We've done about 15 miles from Red's Meadow today, and we're just arriving at Purple Lake.
For 10 years, we've been eating tortillas and sausage for some of our hiking lunches. It served us well, but last night we found 4 mustard packets left over in a bear box at a campsite. What is the result, Brian?
Total game changer. This has been brought to the level of fine dining.
I've wasted 10 years of my life eating tortillas and sausage without mustard, and it's the biggest mistake I've ever made.
We're hiking down the trail here to Tully's Hole.
We've already done at least a mile of switchbacks, and there seem to be about 100 more just below us. It's outrageous. Here we go. Switch it back.
It's the morning of day 7.
It's the coldest morning we've yet experienced. It's freezing in here. We slept next to this river.
Right now we're in striking distance of Vermilion Valley Resort, or VVR.
Right before we got out here, a snowstorm came through and put many feet of snow on all the passes we're supposed to get over. But since then, it's been a lot of hot, sunny days, so we are hoping that all that snow has melted and we'll be able to just walk straight over those mountain passes without a problem.
Well, we just summited Silver Pass.
So it's a really tough day. We pushed it too hard yesterday, and we're hurting today.
7 more miles, and then we catch a ferry across the lake to our final food drop. We're gonna make it to this ferry. How do I feel? Hungry.
They're coming down. I was like 10,000 granite steps. Yep. Feet are one big blister.
Dreaming with a vision, seeing new horizons. I just gotta feel it. Freedom has come.
In the morning, typically the water's like a mirror, like glass, and the sun works to my favor to see where the rocks are. Now, not so much.
Right now.
We've made it to Vermilion Valley Resort, and we are all eating fettuccine Alfredo with chicken to try to give us enough energy for the last 11-ish days of our hike. How's your food, Brian?
It's filling. I'm gonna make it.
Maybe that 80 something miles we just hiked has something to do with it, but it's great.
How would you rate it on all the fettuccine Alfredos you've eaten?
I don't know what your set price is.
It's like Trader Joe's exploded in here. We are packing 11 days of food, which is far too much food, into 2 bags, which are far too small bags.
It's a bit over the top, but knowing you guys for the past week, it all makes sense.
It's the morning of day 8, and the scary thing about coming here was that we were going to get food drops for the next 11 days, because this is our last food drop for the whole trip. So now I've packed my bag. This is a Dr. scale from 1950. If I could just figure out how to use this thing. Looks like my bag is 42 pounds.
What do you think about that?
Well, I have to admit it's less bad than I thought.
Oh, 46 pounds.
Okay, so you're right on the same range.
Coming in at 37 pounds.
It's not bad.
Yeah, well, he's resupplying.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I got one more resupply.
We're on our way to Bear Ridge. Huge hike up a huge hill. And it's full of bears at the top, and we're going to fight them off with our bare hands. It's the coldest night yet.
It's the morning of day 9.
It's frost on everything. We slept in waiting for the sun to hit the tent, and it finally did. And thankfully, well, it's not warm yet. It's not warm at all.
So cold.
We're on our way up Selden Pass right now. Very cold out here.
Coldest day yet. Why is it so cold?
Well, when I'm scared, I like to sing a little song. It goes like this.
Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens, bright copper kettles and warm woolen mittens.
The Sound of Music is important to both Hank and I because we had it on double VHS tape growing up.
I really like singing the songs from The Sound of Music as I'm hiking because it increases our spirits, and it's also just something fun from childhood to revisit. Brown paper packages tied up with strings. These are a few of my favorite things.
I say I've seen it a million times. I was young. I would usually fall asleep during the first tape, so I've only seen that part with the Nazis once. The first time I saw that, I couldn't believe there were Nazis in The Sound of Music.
When the dog bites, when the bee stings, when I'm feeling sad, I simply remember my favorite things. And then I don't feel so bad. Damn you, old man winter. Old man winter, you've gone too far. Done. We're at the top of Southern Pass. It's the coldest it's ever been. The wind up here is about 370 miles per hour at this present moment. It's about negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit. We're getting off this thing. But first, Canyon, freezing, Selden, cold. It's very cold, cold. We've made it to the halfway point. What do you think about that?
I think that this would be the halfway point, except that assumes that you never descend from Mount Whitney. I think the halfway point's in about 5 miles because we have to descend from Mount Whitney.
Agreed. This whole thing where the trail ends at the top of Mount Whitney, completely dishonest.
Okay, here we go. We're leaving the John Muir Wilderness. We're now entering Kings Canyon National Park. I'm hungry and thirsty.
So now I'm gonna cross the bridge. These babies are dangerous. Every time we're hiking, I sprain my ankle on a bridge just like that. And now, we are entering Kings Canyon National Park.
Complicated calculation. Do you want to drink the coffee first, then make the oatmeal, or vice versa?
I guess oatmeal.
Okay. Might be easier to do the coffee first. Well, only because it's easier to wash out coffee than oatmeal.
Okay. Some kind of information line.
Hello? Wait, who's calling who?
Good morning, America and the world. Here we are in Bird Nation, coming to you from the Sequoia National Forest.
Today we are starting our journey over Muir Pass, which will be for us either a 2 or 3 day journey. One of the longest, not highest, but longest passes on our trip. It's day 10.
In other words, we're going to be hiking uphill non-stop for 2 or 3 days in a row now.
I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, I just feel so good, good, good. Oh, I just feel so good.
Probably our prettiest campsite of the trip. It might be a little cold if wind comes through this channel at night, but we think it's going to be cold everywhere.
I see the world through my thrift store shades, rose-colored lenses and a fake gold frame. Come on. And if you're wondering why I move the way I do, I just feel so.
Morning. We're here at Evolution Lake. We're still in the tent. Everything is frozen.
It's very cold. I'm still in my sleeping bag.
It's winter out here, America and the world.
Hello, some kind of information line.
What are we doing now?
We're going to continue hiking over Muir Pass today.
What's it going to be like up there?
Windy and cold, probably.
Great. What was it like last night?
It was incredibly cold. You have no idea.
I have some idea. My water was all frozen when I woke up.
I wore my rain gear all night.
I wrapped my feet in my fleece pants, which I should have been wearing on my legs.
When I touched my Garmin this morning, it almost burned my hand. It was so cold.
When I picked up my iPhone, it was like picking up a block of ice. I could have made a cool cocktail with it.
When I took off my long underwear to put on my pants, I almost vomited. It was so cold.
The handkerchief I wore over my mouth to prevent cold air from getting to my face was frosted over in the morning.
Yep, so it was cold.
I just feel so good.
Well, I'm heading up Muir Pass here, but switchbacks have gotten pretty steep. We're nearing 12,000 feet, I think. So it's pretty high. Maybe a little coughing due to the lack of air.
The John Muir Trail, over its 211 miles, has 10 major passes, all of which are difficult in their own ways. My least favorite pass was Muir Pass. It's not the highest, it's not the steepest. It was just a terrible day, and I was having some altitude issues, and it was freezing cold.
They essentially rage hiked that last mile of it. Rage hiking is where you're so angry you just move faster and faster and faster, you tire yourself out, and then you get to the top. You need someone to stuff your face full of food before you'll move at all.
John Muir's hut. Is it? Who made it?
I think it is called Muir Hut. I don't know who made it.
This plaque says, "To John Muir, the lover of this range of life." We made it to the top of Muir Pass, which was long but not steep.
Is it time to eat?
We just ate.
No, we didn't. That was a snack. It was the coldest room I have ever been in, but once I was in that room, I sat down and I refused to get up until someone shoved thousands of calories of food into my face because I just couldn't move anymore.
You know I'm about to explode. I got a nuclear reactor deep down in my soul.
It's just desolation and death up here except for a few flowers.
Yeah, I'm having trouble reconciling. Just yesterday morning we were walking through huge redwood forests and now nothing.
And this is what the trail looks like.
I'm 30 seconds from a meltdown. Blood is running red hot through my veins. I got a heavy metal fury. I'm coming for pain.
It's just pure rocks as far as the eye can see. Rocks the size of your head, rocks the size of your car, rocks the size of your house, rocks the size of your fist, but nothing smaller than that. You just have to walk on it for miles and miles.
A lot of rocks.
Rocks.
Maybe it was the 12,000 feet. Maybe it was just I hadn't eaten enough. Maybe it was just a bad day. Either way, Muir Pass was terrible. I hated it. Too many rocks, too cold, and I rage hiked to the last mile of that one until I collapsed.
It's the morning of day 12 here on the John Muir Trail.
We slept at low elevation. We had fire at night, fire in the morning. We're feeling bright and refreshed.
It's almost like summer out here today. It's really nice. A very big difference from some of the other days we've had previously where it's been freezing in the morning, and it feels like we have a lot of energy so far.
Onward!
We're heading up the Golden Staircase, which you gotta climb over to get over Mather Pass. This is by far the warmest day we've ever had. Really beautiful out here. There's yellow golden fall leaves on all the trees out here. And we're just having a really nice day in this warm summer-like weather. I don't know how long it's gonna hold. Probably not when we get back up to 12 or 14,000 feet, but for now it's really nice.
Golden staircase, golden staircase, golden staircase, with a staircase, golden staircase, the green, but gold. The stairs are gold, 100 years old. Golden staircase, men will fall.
We're really deep into the trip now. We've been hiking for 12 days. We have 6 days to go. It's interesting because I can barely remember the beginning of the trip. It's been so long, but I can't quite yet see the end. So just trying to enjoy everything we can. Some of it's painful, but some of it is fantastic, and it's going to be quite an accomplishment if and when we get to the end.
Oatmeal.
So that's the breakfast. It's the morning of day 13, just above Palisade Lakes on the way up Mather Pass.
We're about to hike about 7 miles up the pass. Is that right? And then...
No, it's, isn't it 3.5 miles up the pass? 3.5 miles up the pass, 7 miles down. Let's say that in unison one more time. 3.5 miles up the pass, 7 miles down. Starting today, we have 5 passes to go over in 6 days. This is going to be a tough end of this shebang.
Indeed, this shebang. As usual, at these altitudes, above 11,000 feet, I don't need food to keep me going. Just a pure, white-hot, directionless rage keeps my legs moving. And then it's on the way down, I start burning food again. Instead of the pure white-hot rage.
What's happening up here?
I was just talking about my pure white-hot rage hiking.
Oh, you mean the rage that occurs when you go up to 12,000 feet?
Yeah, that's just pure altitude rage.
We've done 2.5 miles up Mather Pass from Lake Palisades. We're at 11,700 feet, so I think we only have 300 feet to go.
We made it.
We made it. We're at the top of
Mather Pass.
Mather Pass. Feels good. Feels really good. I'm really happy we got this one out of the way.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Can't wait to get to that forested area. This is the best field I've ever lain in. Just think, just this morning I was rage hiking over Mather Pass, fueled by a white-hot rage, and here I am now, just sitting in a field starving to death.
We're getting down to the nitty-gritty, to the end of the trip. We only have 5 days left, and right now we're about to head over Piute Pass.
Nothing can stop us now.
Except for the weather, our heavy packs, and Brian's gear is falling apart.
Oh yeah, my boots are having major issues. I've had to conduct about 5 different repairs.
The zipper on my down jacket has been broken since day 3.
The zipper on my left pant leg to turn into a short just broke off this morning.
I have a duct tape hole in my sock, and I have 2 holes in my pants.
Hank's sleeping bag seems to be leaking feathers at a rate of 1 pound per day.
Every morning we wake up to just hundreds of feathers.
Feathers everywhere.
But now we're off.
Damn you, John Muir. As usual, you're out of energy. You just rage hike to the top. Here we go. Just rage it. Rage. Damn you, John Muir! Damn you, Piute! Damn you, Yosemite Conservancy! And damn you, high altitude passes! Damn you all to hell! Damn you all!
It's a furious thing to suffer the weight of existence. Is it savage in frame, a deep chaos roaring at its expense?
Piute Pass, we made it to the top at over 12,000 feet. This is one of our most strongest days coming up a pass yet, so we're getting stronger by the day.
Definitely.
Now heading down, way down to 8,000 feet to tackle the final 3 passes in the final 4 days.
All writhing in pain, all alive in the rage of becoming. In all the screaming and praise, have the gods that we've prayed to been bluffing? This world is a miracle. This world is a
Listen, I don't think
there's almost nothing in there.
If we decide to walk on to Mexico, I don't think this is gonna.
I don't think that's gonna make it to Mexico.
It's the morning of day 15, and we're about to head up Glen Pass.
This is the biggest pass we've been so far. It's about, what'd you say, 10 miles that we have to go uphill today to get to it?
10 miles, 12,000 feet. It's gonna be a rough one, we think. No idea where the pass is. Can't see it, can't see it.
We're miles away. Who knows where it could be anywhere. Could be nowhere. Could be invisible to us. We'll never find it.
When Brian and I hike together, we often make up new games to play. And one of the games that really took hold during the John Muir Trail was a game that we called Where's That Pass?
Where are we heading?
No idea where we're headed right now. We're going over Glen Pass, but as is always the case with these passes, no matter where you look, there's 100 passes above you.
The way the game works is that the brothers must guess where's that pass that they're about to go over.
The trail meanders in such a way that it makes it almost impossible to figure out where in the world you're going. For the past hour, we've been pointing out places in the mountains that we think we're going to go over, only to discover that's not the case. I actually have a new theory, which is we're gonna go over a small saddle here, and then there's gonna be another pitch to go to a bigger saddle. I know we're very close. Still have absolutely no idea which of the 10 saddles I see before me it is.
All I want is the sugar water. Just
Sugar
bring
water.
Me the sugar water.
We need some sugar water for sure.
Game's Impossible, we never got it right.
Glen Pass, 12,000 feet.
We made it to the top. One of the hardest segments of trail in the John Muir so far, by far. I really liked it, really cool, keeps you guessing till the end, but it was really hard.
It was impossible to know what mountain we were going to go over, even though we were looking at the map. But we're here now. Unbelievable.
Definitely one of my favorite things we've done in the John Muir Trail so far, and now just Forester Pass and then Mount Whitney.
There's a lot of things that are special about a long wilderness trip like this, and spending quality time with my brother is the best part. But there's also a hypnotic rhythm of hiking day in and day out that somehow shifts me into a state of relaxation and peace.
Hank and I fall into familiar roles on these trips without even really talking about it. He's the tent surveyor. He's the one who always finds where the tent's going to go and what directions it's going to face. I'm capable of it, I just don't do it. I am the fire maker. Hank is capable of starting a fire, but I'm just the one who does it. I gather the firewood, break it up, and start fires. It's something I just enjoy doing. Being able to start fires makes me feel like an outdoorsman. I don't know how to live off the land. We carry our own food, but at least I can make my own warmth and cook things if I need to. I also just have a deep love for sitting around a campfire at night against the cold and huddling up and eating with my brother and then letting the fire die down as we talk and then we go to bed. It's just part of the feeling that is important to these trips.
I'm enjoying our last fire very much. I'm gonna miss all these fires. This one's burned all the way down, but it's still very hot, warming my freezing cold hands.
Can you guess? Where's that pass?
Well, welcome back to the game show where we try to guess where is it that we'll be passing over the mountains. It's called Where's That Pass? I have no idea personally. Hank, where do you think it is?
Well, it could be in one of the 60 places that I'm looking at right now, none of which are probably correct.
The thing about the game show Where's That Pass is that it's never been won by anybody throughout the history of time.
Brian and I hiked the John Muir Trail for 18 days, and for the last 10 of those days, we had no services of any kind.
That means no phone service, no showers, no restaurant meals, nothing. It was just us, the wilderness, and the food and equipment that we had on our backs. It's really fulfilling to discover how self-sufficient you can be, but also there's a great value, I think, in disconnecting from the world. While we were out here, we weren't able to read the news, we weren't able to talk to our friends or our family, and it lets you kind of open your mind, release some of the things that cause you anxiety in normal everyday life, and just experience yourself without all those external factors pushing and prodding at you. And I think there's a real value in that.
Hello, coming to you live, recorded on Forester Pass, the second highest pass on the John Muir Trail. The only one that's higher is Mount Whitney.
We're in Sequoia National Park right now, which is pretty exciting, and Forester Pass is quite an accomplishment.
It's beautiful. There's smoke in the distance. Could be a prescribed fire.
Heading toward Mount Whitney for our final hurrah!
There's a very important reason I love going on trips like this. So if there's one word that I would use to describe it, it's reset. It's resetting my expectations for the world, my expectations for myself, and getting away from all of the stresses that cause me anxiety in our everyday lives. And hiking the John Muir Trail with my brother carries so many rewards. Sure, I'll go right back to my complicated, busy life in New York City, but with every trip like this, it just becomes easier to reconcile my love of nature, my love of the city. It can't just be one or the other. I need both to feel whole.
Waters rise above my head. Oh, meet me at the water's edge. What is this face? Whose is this name? What kind of violence can I take?
We're here at Guitar Lake on our last night on the John Muir Trail, and by some miracle we have reunited with our friend Brett from previously in the trip, and with Bo over here, who has been secretly hiking just ahead of us for quite some time. So we're having one final dinner here.
Chicken vindaloo in a Ziploc bag.
Coconut rice and black beans. Good stuff. Good protein.
I haven't had that before.
Yeah,
it's good.
It's not bad.
You're measuring or cheersing?
I'm drinking it down to the part where I can
I'll do both with my Gatorade.
Yeah. We have one more batch of sugar water, as we call it, Gatorade, which we're saving for tomorrow.
Yep, same here.
The wind comes singing in my ear. Oh, meet me here in 1,000 years. Like leopards here, our hearts have bled, and my mind is held in by a thread.
Good morning!
Good morning, it's 3 a.m. and we're about to ascend Mount Whitney to catch the sunrise in the final episode of the John Muir Trail.
We're freezing our butts off. It's probably 10 degrees Fahrenheit this morning at Guitar Lake just below the summit.
It's cold! My hands are frozen, my bar is frozen, my water's frozen, everything's frozen!
I had several insane fever dreams where we kept missing the train to the top of the summit because there were thousands of people waiting in line. That makes no sense. There are exactly 4 people at this campsite.
It's been an amazing trip, and I think that this is a fitting end for us to hike in the dark to see the sunrise at the top of Mount Whitney.
Exactly. This last part of the trip has been like a fireworks finale with pass after pass getting higher and higher, and this is the grand finale. The highest pass, the highest mountain at 3 in the morning, catching the sunrise, 14,500 feet. Here we go.
In John Muir and Ansel Adams' time, nature was seen as separate, something beautiful to set aside and protect. And it's true that this place is stunning. We've seen breathtaking waterfalls, massive mountain peaks, sparkling alpine lakes, and lush, vibrant valleys. But after spending 3 weeks traveling through the Sierra and learning about its history, we've realized that there's no inevitable wall between nature and man. I think that you can't truly protect a place simply by clearing it of people and setting it apart. Humans have to spend time in places like these to fall in love with them and see their existential threats firsthand, just like we did. I hope that future generations will continue to work on how we can embed the natural world into our modern lives more, making enjoying it and taking care of it permanent aspects of our everyday lives would likely result in greater justice for Native people and the environment.
Sunrise at the top of Mount Whitney, here we are.
We made it. Quite an accomplishment. Super cold, but really beautiful. 210 miles. This is the official end of the John Muir Trail.
It's important to note that the John Muir Trail ends at the very top of Mount Whitney, the highest point in the contiguous 48 states. We're done. We're staying here forever. Goodbye, everyone. It was nice knowing you. We love you.